they are rich in enzymes, they are rich in calcium, they are rich in fructose, okay, and the prostaglandins are present, and the enzymes are acid phosphatase as well as amylase. The two kinds of enzymes are present in prostate secretions, right. Let us see this. Fructose and calcium, yes, this is right one. Glucose and calcium, this is not. DNA and testosterone, not right. Ribose and potassium, this is not right. So fructose and calcium and some kinds of enzymes also present in the seminal plasma, right. That is the right answer. 2010, that is a 2010 question. So it was a direct question, no need to worry of these questions, no need of twisting here also. So again 2010. Bladder, okay, this is the bladder and this is the base of the bladder, right. Here the seminal vesicles are present, right. These are the bulbourethral gland, this is the prostaglandin. You must have a sound knowledge of the position of each and every part in the human body, because it will be the advantageous when you become a doctor, or else sometimes once this diagram also given in the NEET examination. So just they pointed A, B, C like this. So you have to recognize what is A, what is B and what is C. So when you have the sound knowledge on this diagram, then only you can see. So this is the urethra which is passing over here. This is the urethral meatus or also orifice also. Orifice means a small opening hole, that is orifice, okay. And also urethral meatus, these are the testes, this is the glans penis, and here will be the prefuse oral foreskin will be there here, and the vaginalis. So this is going to be confused. This is the word you're going to be confused, because vagina in the sense definitely we are going to think about the female reproductive system, but the layer which is outside of the testis is known as tunica vaginalis. That is the first layer, outermost layer. And next one is tunica albuginea. This is the middle layer which is present in this one. So this is the tunica vaginalis, and second one is which is the middle layer, we call it as tunica albuginea. And next innermost layer, this is the innermost layer, this is tunica vasculosa. So remind that there are three layers present around the testis. The outermost layer is known as tunica vaginalis. So this you should not confuse about this word, because if it is coming vaginalis, the word vaginalis means generally our brain thinks about the female reproductive system, but it is not at all related to the female reproductive system. It is only related to male reproductive system only. Don't think other words, okay. So tunica vaginalis is the outermost layer around the testis, and there is a middle layer around the testis, that is tunica albuginea, and innermost layer is tunica vasculosa. So these three layers are present around the testis, right. So this is the one thing, testis. And one thing, when you are reading your NEET biology textbook, you should carefully read each and every word, because when there is I have seen so many previous questions, so the examiner is not leaving a single word even. So how much you read, how much you understand. So he is going. Hello, hi, would be lifesavers. This is your KK sir. Yes, today we are going to discuss the human reproductive system. So we are now going to deal the entire human reproductive system. Just we are going to discuss the male reproductive system. And also along with the lecture, we are going to discuss, we are going to see and we are going to discuss, and we are going to explain the previous questions which were asked in the last NEET examination. So few years back also the questions were being asked from this particular topic. So what sort of questions were asked in the NEET exam, we are going to discuss later. So after the lecture, we are going to discuss. So as a would be a doctor, you must have very sound knowledge about the human anatomy and human physiology. So after you are becoming a doctor, so you must have very sound knowledge in the human physiology and anatomy. Remind this, right? Now we are going to discuss the human reproductive system. In that male reproductive system we are going to discuss. It's a very simple one and very easy one, and the questions also we are going to discuss, right? Without late, we are going to jump into our session. And if you are visiting our channel first time, please subscribe KK NEET Biology and share this video. Yes, we'll see. We are going to discuss the human reproductive system, in that male reproductive system. Okay. Right. So before jumping into session, we must know what is the reproduction and what is the importance of reproduction. What are the things, what are the organs involved in the reproductive system. First, briefly we are going to discuss. Yes, reproduction in the sense giving birth to younger ones or generation of the offsprings of the same kind of species and same kind of organisms. So why are we treating the reproduction as a life process? So because actually life process in the sense the vital things which are very important to survival of the organism, right? If there is no reproduction also, organisms can survive easily and freely. But the thing is, if the reproduction doesn't take place, what happens? The next generation is not going to be on the earth. So ultimately, that will be the end of that particular species. If a species, if an organism wants to continue its race on the earth, its species on the earth, it has to reproduce its offsprings. Then only that particular species will be on the earth, or else that particular species is going to be eliminated from the earth. So that is the importance of the reproductive system, right? Generally, let us jump into our session. So we are going to discuss human reproductive system. Human reproductive system. Reproductive system. First, let us see what are the vital events including in the reproduction, human reproduction. Let us see one by one and let us discuss one by one. So first thing is in the human reproduction, first thing is gametogenesis. Gametogenesis means gametogenesis. So gametogenesis, wherever you come across genesis in the sense production. So or else giving birth. Genesis means giving birth, that's it. Or else production of something, genesis means. Gameto means gametes, generally gametes. Gametes include, we know that male gamete and female gamete include generally in the sexual reproduction. Gametogenesis means in the human, we are discussing human reproductive system, right? So gametes means we have two kinds of gametes that we know well. So one is the sperm and second one is the ovum. So production of process of these gametes is known as gametogenesis. Production of sperms, production of ova is known as gametogenesis. First step includes gametogenesis. And next what happens? After the gametes are produced, what happens? These gametes are going to fuse together in order to form zygote. So remind that is sperm and ova, these are in haploid state. Haploid state in the sense, say for example, in our human body, every cell contains 2 sets of chromosomes, right? 2 sets. I am not talking about the number of chromosomes here. Okay, 2 sets. Set may contain a number of chromosomes. We are not bothering about that. Here, say for example, this is the human body cell. Say for example, this is the cell in the skin. So it contains 2 sets of chromosomes, right? 2 sets of chromosomes. This is one set. Okay, this is one set. In the human, every set includes 23 chromosomes. So here in this set 23 chromosomes. Here also in this set 23 chromosomes. If like this, 2 sets of chromosomes present in a cell, then that particular cell is known as diploid state. Diploid in the sense 2 sets of chromosomes present in a cell, then that particular cell is known as diploid state, right? Or else we can say 2 sets of chromosomes, that is diploid cell. So if we are representing a diploid cell, we are going to show it in 2n. N represents 1 set of chromosomes. 2n in the sense 2 sets of chromosomes. Here if I write 3n, what happened? 3 sets of chromosomes are present. Okay, like this, say we are discussing sperms and ova, right? So these sperms and ova are always they are in haploid state only. Haploid state in the sense the sperms contain a single set of chromosomes. Ovum also contains single set of chromosomes, so that the sperms and ova always there should be in haploid state only. Remind that, okay? And this is the first step including the human reproduction. And second one is, so now the gametes are produced. What happens next? These gametes are going to be fused together in order to form a cell, a single cell, that is zygote. So this particular process is known fertilization, right? Fertilization means we know that is sperm. This is assume that this is the sperm and this is the ova. So why I'm drawing like this, in the sense the ova is very bigger than the sperm. Sperms are very minute, very minute cells there, right? So these cells are going to fuse together in the fertilization process. So in order to form zygote, this is the zygote. So this is the end state in the sense haploid cell, only one set of chromosomes are present, right? And this is a sperm. Here also we can see one set of chromosomes only. So after fusing this sperm and ovum, what happens? Diploid state zygote is going to be formed. Here we can see two sets of chromosomes in the zygote. So this particular process is known as fertilization. In the lower class we might have seen external fertilization, internal fertilization. Generally in the human beings we can see the internal fertilization, because the fertilization process takes place in the body, inside the body of the female organism. Remember that, right? So this is the second step. And before this, insemination also includes in this process, human reproduction process, insemination. In the sense the introduction, or else the insemination, in the sense the sperms generally enters into the female body. That particular process is known as insemination. Okay, after insemination the fertilization process takes place, right? So after the zygote formation, generally zygote forms in the female organism body, or else female's body, females inside the female's body, right? After the fertilization, what happens? So after this fertilization, zygote is going to form. This zygote is going to undergo mitotic divisions. One cell is going to divide into two. So these daughter cells contain the same number of chromosomes as in the mother cell. So that particular division, we know that the mitotic division. So the zygote undergo mitotic division. So as a result, the blastocyst is going to be formed. So this blastocyst is going to attach the uterine wall. So this attachment of uterine wall is known as implantation process. Implantation. So implantation is nothing but this zygote is going to divide it into blastocyst. This blastocyst, it's a small ball-like structure, but is not that much bigger as the ball. So it's very minute one, we can't even see with our naked eye. So that zygote is going to attach the uterine wall. Uterine in the sense the womb walls of the female body. Alright. So this particular process is known as implantation. So after the formation of the zygote is going to blastocyst, and this blastocyst is going to attach the walls of the uterine. So this particular process, attachment of this, say assume that this is the uterus. So this is the uterus. So this is the wall of the uterus. So this blastocyst is going to attach to the walls of the uterus. So this attachment is known as implantation. So these are the different processes including the human reproduction. So one is gametogenesis, second is fertilization, and then implantation. Then what happens after the implantation of this particular blastocyst to the walls of the uterus? What happens in this? It's going to become a baby, right? It has to divide, and there should be so many organs must be formed in this blastocyst. So this particular up to delivery of the baby to the outside of the world. So this particular period, so when the zygote is formed, and from this zygote the baby is going to be developed. This particular period of time is known as gestational period. So what do we call it as? Gestational period. Gestational, or else gestational period. So generally it is around 270 to 280 days is the gestational period. So after gestation, our next process, parturition. Parturition in the sense delivery of baby. So delivery of baby. So human reproduction basically have these steps, or else these things generally human reproduction has. One is gametogenesis, that is formation of the sperms and ova, right? So always sperms and ova, they are in the haploid state, in the sense a single set of chromosomes are present. If it is human sperm, generally there are 23 chromosomes. Okay, two kinds of sperms are present. So one is 22 plus X chromosomes, some chromosomes have, and sorry, some sperms have, and some sperms have 22 plus Y chromosome, like that. So only a single set of chromosomes are present in sperms, and ova also contain the single set of chromosomes. So generally we call it as sperms and ova are in haploid state. So this is the gametogenesis. There is a very big session about this gametogenesis. Later we are going to discuss. Right, next one is the fertilization process. So after the formation of sperms and ova, they are going to fuse together to form zygote. So zygote always in diploid state only, and we can find two sets of chromosomes. So we call it as the diploid state, diploid cell also we can say. Okay, right, this zygote is going to undergo mitotic division in order to form blastocyst. Say assume that this is zygote. So it's going to divide 2 cells, and further it is going to divide 4 cells, and it is going to divide 8 cells. So this particular structure or this particular stage is known as blastocyst. So this blastocyst is going to, already we discussed, this blastocyst is going to come from fallopian tubes. Here left and right there are tube-like structures to the uterus which are attached in the female reproductive system. So from here this zygote moves and enters into the uterine uterus, and it is going to attach the walls of the uterus. So this particular process is known as, what is say, implantation of the embryo or implantation of the blastocyst. Okay, and next one is the gestation period means here. So after formation of the zygote up to the parturition in the sense delivery of baby from the female body to the outside of the world, this particular process is known as parturition. So from the formation of the zygote up to the parturition, this particular period is known as gestational period. Generally it is 270 to 280 days in the human beings, right? And parturition, this is delivery of the baby. So these are the different events includes in the human reproduction, right? We are going to discuss the male reproductive system. Now we'll see. So generally the sperms are going to be produced in the males up to the older age, but in case of females it is up to 45 to 50 age, the ova are going to be stopped, the ovulation process is going to be stopped. So we know that is menopause. So later on we are going to discuss about this also. Okay, right, now we are going to discuss male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. This is very important one, so many times 2016, in 2018 and 2011, so many times questions were asked from the male reproductive system, and later on after this lecture we are going to discuss the previous year's questions also. Right, we'll see. Right, male reproductive system. Generally the reproductive system or the reproductive physiology which is present in the male pelvic region. So pelvic region in the sense below the abdomen is known as pelvic region. From where the legs are attached, that particular region is known as pelvic region. So in this pelvic region we have the male reproductive organs. Generally male reproductive system, it includes we'll see. So pair of testes. See, if you write T-E-S-T-S, testes we should pronounce. So this is the plural, and testis is the singular. This is the singular, or we can say testis as the testicle also. Testicle singular, testicles plural, testes plural, testis is the singular, right? So how many testes present? 2 testes are present. So or else we can say it's a pair of testes. And accessory ducts. Duct is a tube-like structure which is present in our body, is called as duct, through which something is going to be passed through the tube-like structure. That particular structure we call it as the duct. We call it as the duct. So we are calling it accessory in the sense it is supportive duct to the male reproductive system. That's what we are calling them as accessory ducts. Accessory ducts. And next, male genitalia or else genitalia. 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 Or else we say it as penis. Penis. And also there are so many glands, 3 kinds of glands also present, which are included in the male reproductive system. Glands. Okay. So male reproductive system includes testis, accessory ducts, glands, and also genitalia. That is external genitalia, or else we call it as primary sexual character. Secondary sexual characters are different, and primary sexual character is the genitalia of male or female. We call it as the primary sexual characters. So genitalia or else penis. Okay. We are going to discuss testis. First of all, we are going to discuss testis. Right. How many testes are present? 2 testes are present, right? 2 testes are present. 2 testes are present. They have, okay, there are 2 testes are present. They are present outside of the body. Generally, whatever the vital organs, they are present inside our body, like heart, lungs, all these things are present inside the body. So they are going to, whatever the vital organs present in the body, they are going to face the pressure and face the temperature which is present in our body. But testes are present outside of the body. There is a sac-like, very small sac-like structure present. These testes are present in that sac. That particular sac is known as scrotum. Scrotum. So there are how many testes? A pair of testes or 2 testes are present. These are present outside of the abdomen. Outside of abdomen. So these testes are present in a sac-like structure. Sac-like structure, we call it as scrotum. We call it as scrotum. So remind that, very important one here as a point, the scrotum contains 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade of temperature, lesser than our body temperature. This is very important to the survival of the sperms which are produced in the testes. Okay. So what is the temperature present in the scrotum here? 2 to 2.5 degrees of centigrade of temperature, lesser than the body temperature. What is our body temperature? 37 degrees centigrade. So 37 degrees centigrade, okay, minus 2 degrees or else 2.5 degrees centigrade. So this is the temperature which is present inside the scrotum. Because if there is more temperature or less temperature than this, so that means here around 34.5 to 35 degrees centigrade. If the temperature is going beyond of this, the sperms are going to die. If the temperature going to be lesser than this one, the sperms are going to be inactive in the testes. So the temperature, this particular temperature has to be maintained in the scrotum in order to successful survival and the successful movement of the sperms. So this temperature has to be maintained. So that is the specialty of the scrotum. When our body temperature rises or else when the atmospheric temperature rises, the scrotum goes down. So the scrotum moves away from our body. Say for example, here this is the male reproductive system pelvic region, and this is the scrotum. If temperature rises, the scrotum goes down. If the temperature lowers, the scrotum comes towards our body to raise the temperature. Okay, if it is going down, so what happens? The temperature is going to be bring down. So ultimately, this particular temperature is going to be maintained in the scrotum. Right. This scrotum, there are 2 muscles. So these muscles names are not included in our NEET textbook, but we should discuss, because some of the questions earlier, some of the questions which are not the topics which are not discussed in the NEET textbook also asked in the NEET exam, right? Right here. So there are 2 kinds of muscles. One is cremaster muscle. Cremaster muscle. So what happens? This cremaster muscle helps in contraction of the scrotum, right? And second kind of muscle, dartus Dartus muscle. So this is for relaxation of scrotum. Relaxation of the scrotum. You must remain these two kinds of muscles which are present in the scrotum and which are attached to the abdominal walls. So this is the cremaster muscle, second one is the dartus muscle. So cremaster muscle, so when there is a very less temperature in our body or very less temperature in the atmosphere, what happens? This cremaster muscle going to contract. So when this muscle contract, this scrotum is going to be pulled towards our body, So ultimately the temperature in the scrotum is going to be raised. Okay, and second one is the dartus muscle. So this muscle, when our body temperature rises in case of fevers, or else if it is in case of summer season, if you are playing something, you are playing some game, so ultimately the body temperature is going to be raised. That time the dartus muscle which is present in the scrotum, so that is going to be relaxed. Ultimately the scrotum is going to be pulled away from the body. So ultimately the temperature is going to be reduced in the scrotum. So you must remember these two muscles which are present in the scrotum, right? So this is all about the scrotum. And so scrotum is the sac-like structure, right? Next, testis. So there is a layer around the testis. Every testis has a layer. So this layer has this is further divided into 3 layers. So assume that this is the testis. Okay, around this testis, there is a layer. So this layer further divided into 3 layers. Okay, remember this is also not present in your NEET biology book. So these layers, there are 3 layers. So outermost layer is tunica vaginalis. So this is going to be confused. This is the word you're going to be confused, because vagina, in the sense, definitely we are going to think about the female reproductive system, but the layer which is outside of the testis is known as tunica vaginalis. That is the first layer, outermost layer. And next one is tunica albuginea. This is the middle layer which is present in this one. So this is the tunica vaginalis, and second one is which is the middle layer, we call it as tunica albuginea. And next, innermost layer, this is the innermost layer, this is tunica vasculosa. So remind that there are 3 layers present around the testis. The outermost layer is known as tunica vaginalis. So this, you should not confuse about this word, because if it is coming vaginalis, the word vaginalis means generally our brain thinks about the female reproductive system, but it is not at all related to the female reproductive system. It is only related to male reproductive system only. Don't think other words. Okay. So tunica vaginalis is the outermost layer around the testis, and there is a middle layer around the testis, that is tunica albuginea, and innermost layer is tunica vasculosa. So these 3 layers are present around the testis, right? So this is the one thing, testis. And one thing, when you are reading your NEET biology textbook, you should carefully read each and every word, because when there is I have seen so many previous questions, so the examiner is not leaving a single word even. So how much you read, how much you understand. So he is going to focus all these things. So you should never leave even a single word. Remind that. So test is 3 layers. So the outermost layer is the tunica vaginalis, and middle layer is the tunica albuginea, and innermost layer is the tunica vasculosa. And this testis is going to be divided into small chambers. Every testis is going to divided into small chambers. These chambers is known as testicular lobules. Testicular lobules. So there are 250 lobules, testicular lobules are present. Remember this number also. There are 250 lobules, 250 testicular lobules are present in the 250 each testis, right? So almost one testis contains 250 and other testis contains 250, almost altogether 500, around 500 testicular lobules are present in testis, right? So this lobule means it's a small chamber or it is small room like structure. And if you see the width of the testis, it is 2 to 3 centimeters and the length of the testis is 4 to 5 centimeters. Easily you can remember 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the consecutive numbers, right? First two numbers represent the width and next two numbers represent the length of the testis. Okay, this is the width of testis and this is the length of the testis. Right, now we are going to discuss each and every lobule, what are present in the lobule, in the testicular lobule. So how many lobules are present? Around 250 lobules are present in the testis. Right. Now we are going to discuss, I am taking this is the testis, right, and assume that this is one lobule, this is one testicular lobule and this is one more testicular. Like this lobule, 250 lobules are present in every testis. This lobule contains so many convoluted tubules around 1 to 3, every lobule contains 1 to 3 convoluted tubules, very small minute tubules are present in these lobules. So these tubules are known as, say for example, this is one convoluted tubule like this. So these are the tubules which are present in the each testicular lobule. So these are known as seminiferous tubules, seminiferous tubules. These are known as seminiferous tubules. And what is the importance of seminiferous tubules? Here, the seminiferous tubules generally they contains two kinds of cells. Where are the seminiferous tubules are present? They are present in the testicular lobules. How many testicular lobules are present in the testis? In the sense 250 testicular lobules. Each lobule contains 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules. The seminiferous tubules contain two kinds of cells. Say I am taking one of the seminiferous tubule out. See, I am drawing here, this is the seminiferous tubules. Okay. So what are present inside the seminiferous tubules? See here, assume that this is the seminiferous tubules and here also one more seminiferous tubules and this is one more seminiferous tubules, right? So this is entirely, this is the testicular lobule, right? This is testicular lobule. Okay, I am just dissecting. I am just dissecting transversely. So like this you can see. Okay, so this is the seminiferous tubule and this is seminiferous. This is also seminiferous tubule. So inside this seminiferous tubules, there are two kinds of cells. One is spermatogonial cells. Spermatogonia. Or else there is some other word for the spermatogonia, that is male germ cells. And second one is Sertoli cells. Right? So there are some convoluted tubule present in the every testicular lobule. These tubules are known as seminiferous tubules, right? Seminiferous tubules contain two kinds of cell. One kind of cells is known as spermatogonial cells or else male germ cell we can say, and second one is Sertoli cells. These two kinds of cells are present. Where do we observe these cells? So in the seminiferous tubules. So assume that this is the Sertoli cells. These are the Sertoli cells. Generally they are present in the peripheral region in the sense, so edges. So assume that this is the seminiferous tubule cross section. So these are present, some cells are present in the peripheral region. Okay, these are known as the Sertoli cells. Right, I am writing here Sertoli cells. And second kind of cells, so spermatogonial cells. These are the spermatogonial cells. Generally we are saying the production of the sperms takes place in the seminiferous tubules. Production of the sperms, or else manufacturing unit of the sperms is the place of the manufacturing unit of the sperms is the seminiferous tubules. So from the spermatogonial cells, generally these spermatogonial cells generally they undergo meiotic division. Remind that the spermatogonial cells undergo meiotic division in order to form the sperms. Generally the sperms, already we discussed, the sperms are in the haploid state. Only a single set of chromosomes are present, right? So these are the spermatogonial cells. So what is the function of the sertolizal cells? They are going to provide the nutrition to the spermatogonial cells. So the main function of the sertolizal cells is nutrition. The main function of the sertolizal cells which are present inside the seminiferous tubules is that they are going to provide the nutrition to the spermatogonial cells. Remind that these spermatogonial cells are in the diploid state. That means there are two sets of chromosomes present in the spermatogonial cells, or else we can say male germ cells. So these male germ cells are going to undergo meiotic division. Meiotic division is, or else we can say reduction division also we can say, because the number of chromosomes are reduced to half, so that we call it as the reduction division also. The spermatogonial cells, remind that very important, the spermatogonia are in the diploid state, that is two sets of chromosomes are present in the spermatogonia. Okay, from the spermatogonia only the sperms are going to be generated, the sperms are going to be formed. Okay, so after the spermatogonia undergo reduction division, the sperms are going to be produced. Assume that this is spermatogonial cells. Okay, say for example it contains 46 chromosomes. If it is human, so if it is human, we are discussing human only, right? 46 chromosomes. Here from this spermatogonial cells or male germ cell, it undergoes meiotic division in order to form 4 sperms which contains 23 number. Ante only one set of chromosomes are present in each and every sperm, right? So after going the meiotic division, remind that. Okay, so this is about all about the seminiferous tubules. Okay, seminiferous tubules contain spermatogonia or else male germ cells, and other type of cells is the sertolizal cell. Sertolizal cells are going to provide the nutrition to the spermatogonial cells. So spermatogonial cells generally they undergo meiotic division in order to produce sperms. So spermatogonia always they contain two sets of chromosomes. So that means they are in diploid state. So after the meiotic division, after the reduction division of these spermatogonia, it is going to generate, or it is going to produce the sperms which are in the haploid state. They have only a single set of chromosomes. Remind that. Okay, so this is all about the seminiferous tubules, right? Okay, then the space which is present in between these seminiferous tubules. So this is the empty space which is present in between seminiferous tubules. Here if you say this is the space, this is the empty space which is present around the seminiferous tubules. This particular space is known as interstitial space, right? Interstitial space. In this interstitial space, there are specialized cells are present in this interstitial space. So these cells are known as Leydig cells. And one more kind of cells also present in the interstitial space. These cells are immunocompetent cells, right? The space among or else in between these seminiferous tubules is known as interstitial space. There are two kinds of cells are present in this interstitial space. One kind of cells are known as Leydig cells, and second one is immunocompetent cells. These are the immunocompetent. You should not leave a single point. You should not neglect any kind of word, any kind of point in the NCERT biology book, because question may be asked from any corner of the textbook. Remind that. Okay. Right. So these are the Leydig cells. Generally, the Leydig cells secrete androgens. Androgens in the sense male hormone, male sex hormones, male sex hormones, that is androgens, androgens. The male androgen is testosterone, testosterone. We know that the testosterone is responsible for the development of secondary sexual characters in the males, right? So this is about the interstitial space, right? Every testis contain 250 seminiferous lobules, or else testicular lobules we can say. Okay, every lobule contains 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules. In the seminiferous tubules, there are two kinds of cells. One is spermatogonial cells, or else male germ cells. Generally, they are in the diploid state. They contain 2 sets of chromosomes. And second kind of cells are known as Sertoli cells. They provide nutrition to the spermatogonia. If there is no Sertoli cell, there is no nutrition for this spermatogonia. The spermatogonia is going to die, and the no sperms are going to produce. So, because both the cells are important which are present inside the seminiferous tubules. And out of these seminiferous tubules, the space which is present out of these seminiferous tubules is called as interstitial space. Interstitial space. So, in this interstitial space also, we can find two kinds of cells. One is Leydig cells, which is responsible for the production of the male sex hormone, that is androgens, androgens. So many kinds of androgens, but the main and chief androgen is testosterone, which is responsible for the secondary sexual development of the secondary sexual characters in the males, right? So this is the testosterone which is come from the Leydig cells. And second one is the immunocompetent cells. Also these are going to be involved in the immunological reactions. So these are two kinds of cells in the interstitial space, right? So this is all about the testis. Is it clear? All right. Now this is all about the testis. So now we are going to discuss the accessory ducts. We are going to discuss accessory ducts. We are going to discuss accessory ducts. Duct means this is a small tube-like structure through which something is going to be passed, to which something is going to be travel. Like if you take glucose pipe, so glucose is going to be passed through the glucose pipe. In that way, in our body also, there is some pipe-like structures which we call them as ducts, through which something is going to be passed. The accessory ducts includes 1. Seminiferous tubules, and then rete testis, then vasa efferentia, and the next epididymis, and fifth one vas deferens. Next one is ejaculatory duct, and seventh one is urethra. So these are the ducts which are included in the male reproductive system. One is seminiferous tubules, right? We know that the seminiferous tubules are present in the testicular lobules, right? And second one is the rete testis, third one is vasa efferentia, fourth one epididymis. So these epididymis is the storage unit for the matured sperms, and the vasa deferens and ejaculatory duct, and ejaculatory ducts, these are so two are present, and seventh one is urethra, right? Now we'll see. This is the testis. I am going to draw here. I'll just draw somewhat down. Here I am going to draw. Right. This is the testis. We know that there is a layer around this testis. Already we discussed there are 3 layers, and this is the testicular lobules, right? These are the testicular lobules. What we discussed, there are some tubule like structures which we call it as seminiferous tubules. So there are 1, 2, 3 seminiferous tubules. Testicular lobules are the around 250 are present, but seminiferous tubules, each lobule contain 1, 2 or else 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules, right? These are seminiferous tubules where the sperms are going to be produced, right? So from here all the seminiferous tubules, they are going to form a net like structure inside the testis, So this net or else this network like or else this web like structure, we call it as the rete testis. So this is the rete testis. This rete testis is present inside the testis only. It's a network, it's a net like structures which is going to be formed from the combination of these seminiferous tubules which are coming out of the seminiferous lobules or else testicular lobules. So these are the seminiferous tubules, right? These are the seminiferous tubules. This is the rete testis. This is rete testis. This is rete testis, right? And from here, very fine tubules are going to be goes out of the testis, goes. So these are the going out of the testis, right? So these fine tubules are known as vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia, right? This is the vasa efferentia which is going to originate from the rete testis. So these kind of questions, especially this particular part from where the sperms are going to produce, how they are going to travel, the pathway of the sperms traveling. So many times and so many kinds of questions were asked in the previous examinations, right? So these are the vasa efferentia which are originated from the rete testis tubules, right? And altogether vasa efferentia, they open into convoluted tube, one very very convoluted tubule, that is epididymis. This is highly coiled tubule. This is highly coiled tubule which is present in the posterior region of the testis. Remind that posterior region or else dorsal part of the testis. Dorsal part of the testis, if it is testis like this is the dorsal part, this is the ventral part. So this is the dorsal part contains the epididymis. Epididymis is the highly coiled tube. This is highly coiled tubule. It stores matured sperms. The main function of the epididymis is that storage of matured sperms temporarily in the epididymis, right? And this epididymis continuous or ascends in the sense moving upwards. Epididymis forms a tube, that is vas deferens. So first thing is seminiferous tubules. These seminiferous tubules altogether, they are going to join to form a small network like structure, we call it as rete testis. From the rete testis, there are some kinds of very small tubules are going to be originated from the rete testis. These tubules are known as vasa efferentia. These vasa efferentia is going to open into highly convoluted or highly coiled tubule which is present in the dorsal part of the testis or else in the posterior part of the testis. We call it as epididymis. The main function of epididymis is the storage of matured sperms. Remind that, matured sperms, okay? So after some particular of time, so they are going to be released out, okay? From the epididymis, there is one more tube is going to originate towards up, or else it's going to ascend into the abdominal cavity. So that is vas deferens, okay? Vas deferens. So I'm going to draw somewhere else. So remain this structure. All right. So this is testis, and here already we discussed. So this is the epididymis, and this is vasa deferens, this is the vasa deferens. These are the vasa efferentia, this is the vasa efferentia. Here retate testis, these are the seminiferous tubules are present here, this is the epidermis, and this is the vas deferens. So here when it is ascending into the abdominal cavity, where we have the urinary bladder here, right? Urinary bladder here. This is the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. It has a connection with the ureters, right? There are two ureters. There are two ureters which opens into the urinary bladder. So here when it ascends, what is this one? Vas deferens. This is vas deferens. Vas deferens. So this vas deferens is going to coil or else loops over the ureter. So loops over the ureter in the sense, if it is ureter is like this, vas deferens comes from here and loops over in the sense here like this. So it's going to come here and loops over this ureter. So assume that this is the ureter. So the vasa deferens comes from the down and it's going to loops over in the sense it's going to coil around it. So it's coil around it and it comes forward to the urinary bladder like this. From here also one more vas deferens comes. This is the vas deferens. This is going to arise from the one more testis and like this. It's going to coil around the or else loops over the ureter, right? So after it comes here, what happens? In the base of this urinary bladder, this is the urinary bladder, this is the base of the urinary bladder. So in the base of urinary bladder, there is a gland. There is two glands are present. These glands are seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicle. This is the gland which is supportive gland or else which is accessory gland, which is this is the gland which is related to male reproductive system. Such glands, two seminal vesicle, these are the male reproductive gland. Seminal vesicle, here is one and here is one. So there is a small duct arises from this seminal vesicle, right? Here also duct arises from the seminal vesicle, which brings the seminal fluid into the this tract. So this duct which arises from the seminal vesicle, it is going to join with the vas deferens. So here it is going to join and it is going to form a combined duct. So this one duct is going to arise from the seminal vesicle and this is the vas deferens. This is the duct, very small duct which is coming from the seminal vesicle, and this is the vas deferens. Both the ducts are going to join a combined duct, which we call it as ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct. This is the ejaculatory duct. How many ejaculatory ducts are present? Here from right side one and from the left side one. Two ejaculatory ducts are present. And these ejaculatory ducts, they open into the urethra. So urethra is a common passage from the sperms and it is a common passage for the urine, which arises from the urinary bladder. So this is the urethra. This is urethra. Don't be confused. Very simple one. This is the urinary bladder and this is the passage this is the duct or this is the tubule which is arising from the urinary bladder. We call it as the urethra, right? And this is the vas deferens which is ascending from the testis, right? So after it comes up or after it ascends into the abdominal cavity, it's going to loops over the ureter. Remind that. So it's going to be looped over the ureter and it's going to join with the duct. This is going to join with the duct which is arising from the seminal vesicle. These seminal vesicle, these are the glands, supportive glands in the male reproductive system, which are present in the base of the urinary bladder. So this is the base, right? So this is the base of the urinary bladder. Here one seminal vesicle and here one more seminal vesicle present in the base of the urinary bladder. So these are the seminal vesicle. Mind that. Okay. Here one duct is going to originate or else the duct is going to form from the seminal vesicle and this vas deferens is going to join with this duct in order to form one combined duct. We call it as ejaculatory duct. So these both the ejaculatory duct opens into the urethra. From here the urine is going to be passed, and from here this semen is going to released into the urethra. So this is the both the this urethra is going to act as the passage from the germ cells as well as from the for the urine also. Okay, so that we call it as the male urinogenital duct, urethra. Okay, in case of males we call urethra as the male urinogenital duct we call. Okay, right. So this is the actually SR ducts which are present in the male reproductive system. Clear? So very simple one. So many times questions were asked depending on this pathway. So first one is seminiferous tubules. Okay, seminiferous tubules opens into rete testis, right? Rete testis, and rete testis is going to open into here, we'll see. So rete testis is a small network like structure here. So all these seminiferous tubules is going to join together to form a network like structure. We call it as rete testis. From the rete testis small tubules originate, okay, and they go out of the testis. Okay, these small tubule like structures are called vasa efferentia. These vasa efferentia opens into very convoluted or else what do you say, this is a highly coiled tubule. So this is the epidermis. Epidermis generally it stores the matured sperms in this one. Okay, from here vas deferens starts. Vas deferens coiled over ureter, and from there this vas deferens is going to join with the duct which arises from the seminal vesicle in order to right. These are the different accessory ducts which are present in the male reproductive system. You must remember the sequence of these ducts, how they are present, and from where to where the sperms are moving. So this is the very important in the 2014 and 2016, and so many times the questions were asked in the NEET examination, right? So this is the sequence. You must remember the sequence, right? And let us see the one more organ which is included in the male reproductive system, that is male genitalia. So that is male genitalia. Male genitalia. Genitalia. So that is generally we call it as penis. So penis is the copulatory organ which is useful for the insemination of the spermatozoa into the female body. This is inseminative organ which releases the sperms into the female reproductive tract, right? And this has the three cylindrical, this has, if you see the structure, there are these three cylindrical erectile tissues are present. Tissues are present, right? If we cross-sect the penis, we can see three kinds of cylindrical tissues. They are erectile tissues. That means whenever the blood flows into that particular tissue, it's going to be enlarged. So that we are calling them as the erectile tissue. They are like spongy like tissues. Okay, so that we are calling them as erectile tissues. They are cylindrical. Their structure is cylindrical. So two are present dorsolateral sides. Say for example, this is the penis, right? So if we dissect it, if we transverse section it, okay, we can find two dorsal cylindrical tissues. Two are present in dorsally. They are called corpora spongiosum, corpora cavernosa, right? So one is present in the ventral region, This is also one more cylindrical tissue which is present in the ventral side of the penis. So this is corpus spongiosum. So this is also not present in your textbook, but you must remind this one. What do you say? This is the three kinds of cylindrical tissues present in the penis. Three kinds of cylindrical erectile tissues are present, which are 2 are present in the dorsal region. These dorsal region tissues are called corpora cavernosa, and the 1 is present in the ventral region of the penis, that is called as corpus spongiosum. This corpus spongiosum, through this corpus spongiosum only the urethra passes. The urethra passes. This is the urethral. This is the urethra. So urethra is the what do you say? The urethra is the small tubules which transport sperms, even the urine too. Urine and sperms are carried by the urethra. So the end of urethra, we know that urethral meatus, we call it as the urethral meatus, right? So these are the 3 kinds of cylindrical, spongiosum and erectile tissues are present in the penis, right? So corpora cavernosa and corpus spongiosum. Through the corpus spongiosum only the urethra passes. And the edge of the penis, there is the penis, assume that this edge of the penis is known as glans penis. This is glans penis. This is glans penis. There is a skin fold covers this is the edge of the penis, we call it as the glans penis. There is a skin folding which covers this one, which covers the glans penis, we call it as prepuce or else foreskin, right? So this is all about the male genitalia or penis. Here we must remind that the 3 kinds of the cylindrical erectile tissues which are present in this penis. And what is the glans penis? The edge of the penis which is enlarged in the size and shape, this is called as glans penis, and the skin which covers that particular glans penis is known as prepuce or else foreskin. Okay, right? This is the male genitalia or external male genital organ, right? And now we are going to discuss the accessory glands, which supports formation of the semen, and so many kinds of functions for these gland secretions. So let us see the glands. So there are some kinds of paid glands and unpaid glands also present in the male reproductive system. Now first one is seminal vesicles. Already we have seen the location of the seminal vesicles when we were discussing the accessory ducts, right? So they are the glands which are present in the base of the urinary bladder, right? So from them the seminal vesicle, there is a duct is going to be originated from the seminal vesicles, which is going to merge or which is going to add with the vas deferens in order to form the ejaculatory duct which opens into the urethra. Already we discussed that. So these are the glands which supports to the male reproductive system. Seminal vesicle, these are present too. So these glands are paid glands, right? Second one is prostate gland. Though this is only one gland is present, it is also present in the middle base of the urinary bladder which surround the ureter. So this is only one gland is present, prostate. So seminal vesicles, prostate glands, and some other glands also present, that is Cowper's glands. In other words, these Cowper glands can be called as bulbourethral glands. These Cowper glands also known as bulbourethral glands because these are small bulb-like structures which present just beside the urethra and opens into the urethra. That's what we are calling these Cowper's glands as the bulbourethral glands. Remember this. So these are the 3 supportive accessory glands present in the male reproductive system. These secretions play very vital roles in the production of the semen as well as to neutralize the acidity in the urethra as well as the nutrition of the sperms. So these are the secretions. The secretions which come from these glands are known as seminal plasma. Remember this word, glands. Here are the 3 kinds of glands. These three gland secretions all together known as seminal plasma. Seminal plasma doesn't contain sperms. Mind it. Seminal plasma doesn't contain sperms. Seminal plasma contains only the secretions which are from these three glands. That is seminal vesicles and prostate gland, and third one is the Cowper's gland or bulbourethral glands. So, this is the seminal plasma. Generally, where the sperms are produced? Seminiferous tubules. From there, the sperms are travel through the accessory ducts. So, here they are going to merge, or they are going to mix with the seminal plasma. Sperms are going to, sperms are going to mix with this seminal plasma. All together we called as semen. Seminal plasma, which is including the sperms, is called as semen. Generally, semen includes sperms and seminal plasma. Seminal plasma means the secretions from the accessory glands which are present in the male reproductive system. Now, let us discuss one by one. First one is the seminal vesicle. Right, we are going to discuss seminal vesicle. Right, the seminal vesicle. The seminal vesicle, these are the two glands which are present at the bottom or base of the urinary bladder. These are the two accessory glands which are present in the base of the urinary bladder, right? So, already we discussed there is a duct which arises from the seminal vesicles and is going to join with the vas deferens, right, in order to form ejaculatory duct. And the secretions of the seminal vesicles, they contain 62, the secretions of the seminal vesicles constitute 60 to 70% of the semen. That means, if assume that this is the semen which is having 100%, in this 100% semen, 60 to 70% of the semen produced, seminal plasma is going to produced from the seminal vesicle only. Okay, this is the 100% of seminal plasma. In this 100% of seminal plasma, 60 to 70% of the seminal plasma is going to be produced by the seminal vesicle. And here is one more important point here we are going to discuss, and it was asked in the exam also. Okay, this seminal vesicle secretions contains calcium, okay, and next one is fructose, rich of fructose. So many times this question was asked. The seminal plasma contains fructose, rich of calcium, rich of enzymes. Remind it, very, very important, mind it. So, calcium, fructose, some kinds of enzymes also present. Enzymes and prostaglandins. So, the function of the prostaglandins which are present in the seminal vesicle secretions. The function of the prostaglandin is contraction of uterus in order to move the sperms which enter into the uterus into the fallopian tube. See, once insemination is over, the semen enters into the uterus. Okay, the semen contains seminal plasma. In that seminal plasma, here the prostaglandin is present, right? Prostaglandin is present. These prostaglandins are going to act on the walls of uterus in order to contract. When this uterus contracts, the sperms which are entered into the uterus, they move towards the fallopian tube in order to fertilize the ovum present in the fallopian tube. That is the main function of the prostaglandins which is present in the seminal vesicle fluid, right? And you must remember that the seminal vesicle constitutes 60 to 70% of the semen. So, this is the its part 60 to 70%, and it is highly rich of fructose and calcium. It contains some kinds of enzyme and contains prostaglandins. These prostaglandins, prostaglandins are going to act on the uterus walls, and uterus walls are going to be contracted. So, in order to push these sperms towards the fallopian tube. Okay, and this is the seminal seminal plasma which is coming from the seminal vesicle, right? So, these are the one kinds of gland, right? And let us see the next one, that is prostate gland. Second one is prostate gland. Prostate gland. So this is only one gland. This is not paid gland. So the question may be asked, which of the following gland is not paid gland in the male reproductive system? Or which are paid glands in the male reproductive system? This is not the paid glands. Okay. Assume that this is the urinary bladder and this is the urethra, and here around this one. So there is a gland which we call it as the prostate gland. Here the prostate gland is present. So it is going to open into the urethra and these secretions are going to enter into the urethra, right. So this prostate secretion constitute around 20 to 30% of the seminal plasma, 20 to 30% of the seminal plasma, right. It contains citric acid, which is useful the nutrition of the sperms, Prostate secretions contain citric acid, right, and prostaglandins also, and some kinds of enzymes also present in the prostate secretions. Especially these enzymes are acid phosphatase and amylase. Generally we come across this amylase enzyme in the digestive system, but in the prostate secretions also there are two kinds of enzymes present. One is acid phosphatase, second one is the amylase, right. So here the prostaglandins also present in the seminal vesicle secretions. They act on the uterus to contract and to propel these sperms towards the oviduct or else fallopian tube. But here the prostaglandins which are present in this prostate secretions, they activate sperms, they activate sperms to swim vigorously. So here we came across prostaglandin twice. One is the prostaglandins which are present in the seminal vesicle secretions. They are going to act on the uterus in order to contract, in order to push all the sperms into the oviduct. So that is the function of the prostaglandins which are present in the seminal vesicle secretions. And here the prostaglandins which are present in the prostate gland secretions, these are going to activate the sperm to swim vigorously. So they are going to give energy, they are going to energize the sperms to swim vigorously, speedily. So this is the function of prostaglandins in the prostate secretions, right. And these are alkaline in nature, alkaline milky like fluid this one is. So this is going to neutralize the acidity, So when the urine is being passed through the urethra, so the urethral way completely becomes acidic. So in this acidic media, if the sperms are going to be travel, these sperms are going to be destroyed with the acidic nature of urethra, right. So this acidic nature must be neutralized before the traveling the sperms through the urethra. For that only the seminal plasma is going to travel first. The seminal plasma, generally this is alkaline in the nature. This alkaline nature secretions, they are going to neutralize the acidic nature which is present in the urethra, right. So this is the alkaline milky fluid prostate secretions, and this is going to neutralize the acidic nature in the pathway, right. So this is all about the prostate gland. So these also present, and here from the prostate glands there are some fine ducticles which are going to open into the urethra. So all the prostate secretions are going to be secreted into the urethral passage, right. And here these are the seminal vesicles. Seminal vesicle, they also open ejaculatory duct. So from here we know that seminal vas deferens is going to merge with the duct which is arised from the seminal vesicle and is going to form an ejaculatory duct. These both ejaculatory ducts opens into the urethra. Now the urethral passage receives the seminal vesicle fluid from the seminal vesicles and prostate secretion from the prostate glands into the urethra. And here two more glands, that is Cowper glands and also known as bulbourethral glands. These are the Cowper glands. These are the Cowper glands which are present just below the prostate gland, either side of the urethra, and they open into the urethral passage. They are going to open into the urethral passage. Now the Cowper secretions they are secreted into this one, urethra. And the Cowper secretions, these are the alkaline in nature, alkaline in nature, so that the passage of the urethra is going to be neutralized. Why it should be neutralized? Because it's already acidic in the nature, right? So that must be neutralized in order to survival of the sperms. And Cowper glands, the secretions of the Cowper glands, it secretes the mucus in order to lubricate the glands penis. So it's going to lubricate the glands penis when the copulation starts, right? So these are the Cowper secretions which are secreted from the Cowper glands. These are known also bulbourethral glands. These are the three kinds of different glands, and the secretion from these three glands are known as seminal plasma, right? So these seminal plasma doesn't contain sperms. Remind that, okay? This seminal plasma doesn't contain the sperms. So sperms generally they come from seminiferous tubules from the testicles, right? So from there the sperms come, from these glands seminal plasma come. So these join together to form semen. Semen, it passes through the urethra and comes out of the penis, right? So these are the three different glands. And one more thing we are going to discuss, which is not in our NCERT book. Just a small point here. This is the testicle, this is one testicle and this is one testicle, right? So we have already discussed there is a layer around this testicles, right? This is the scrotum, and there is a canal which is going to connect the abdominal cavity. So here I will draw, assume that these are the legs. So this is the abdomen, right? This is the abdomen. So here the testicles are present, right? Here the testicles are present. There is a canal which is going to connect with the abdomen. So this canal is known as inguinal canal. Reminded, this is not present in your NCERT textbook. So there is a canal which is going to connect with the abdominal cavity with the scrotum. So that particular canal is known as inguinal canal. Through this inguinal canal, assume that this is the inguinal canal, there is a cord passes through it. Cord means, so like generally when we iron, iron box contain a cord, wire cord. So what do you find in the wire? A red wire, a blue wire, a white wire. We contain generally, these are the wires which passes through that cord. So here also this particular cord is known as spermatic cord. This is the inguinal canal. From this inguinal canal there is a cord passes through this inguinal canal. We call it a spermatic cord. Spermatic cord. Generally this spermatic cord contains one spermatic artery, okay, and one spermatic vein and some kinds of nerves. All these are bound together in a connective tissue. Spermatic cord contains spermatic artery and spermatic vein and some kinds of nerves also present in the spermatic cord. The spermatic cord passes through the inguinal canal. Remind it, okay? This is the spermatic cord which passes through this inguinal canal, and it's going to supply the various nutrients to the testis, right? All these, that means here artery and vein and these nerves, all these are bound together in a connective tissue, and even if you see, so which duct ascends into the abdominal cavity? Vas deferens. Vas deferens also passes through this one, spermatic duct only. Vas deferens also passes through this spermatic duct only into the abdominal cavity. Now the spermatic duct, this spermatic cord which passes through the inguinal canal into the abdomen cavity. The spermatic cord contains one spermatic vein, one spermatic artery, and some kinds of nerves. All these three are bound in a connective tissue. Alongside, besides these three, there is one more duct, that is vas deferens. Vas deferens also passes through this inguinal canal, through this spermatic duct only. Spermatic cord passes through the inguinal canal. Okay, and from the inguinal canal only, when in the embryonic stage, generally these testicles are in the abdominal cavity. So at the time of paturation, just before few days of the paturation, these testicles, they descends through the inguinal canal into the scrotum. Generally these testicles descends through this inguinal canal into the scrotum. Sometimes one or two testicles, they may remain inside the abdomen after delivery too. After delivery, they must descend into the scrotum, but they remain in the abdominal cavity itself. Sometimes both the testes, they remain inside the abdominal cavity, and sometimes one testis may descend and one testis may not descend into the scrotum. Right? It remains here itself. This particular situation, or this particular situation, is known as cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism means the testes remain, one or two testes remain in the abdominal cavity after the birth also. This particular condition, this particular situation is known as cryptorchidism. So by doing a small surgery, so the doctors are going to, particularly this testis is going to be inserted into the scrotum, right? So this is the situation like this only. Okay. So this is the complete entire male reproductive system. So we discussed all the things, though especially what are the parts involved in the male reproductive system and accessory ducts, and also we discussed the different kinds of glands, right? So this is the ova. Now we are going to discuss the previous questions. What sort of questions examiner asked in the NEET exam, we'll see that. Right, this is the male reproductive system. We can see, once you can see this, these are the testes and this is the epidermis, and this is the vas deferens, right? Vas deferens, it is over loops, so or else it is coils over the ureter. And see this, these are the seminal vesicles which are present here, and this is not the bladder. Remember, this is not the bladder. Actually, bladder is present here. Okay, I'm going to explain you. So this is the bladder. Actually, this is the bladder. Okay, this is the bladder, and this is the base of the bladder, right? Here the seminal vesicles are present, right? These are the bulbourethral gland, this is the prostate gland. You must have a sound knowledge of the position of each and every part in the human body, because it will be the advantageous when you become a doctor, or else sometimes once this diagram also given in the NEET examination. So just they pointed A, B, C like this. So you have to recognize what is A, what is B, and what is C. So when you have the sound knowledge on this diagram, then only you can see. So this is the urethra which is passing over here. This is the urethral meatus, or also orifice also. Orifice means a small opening hole, that is orifice. Okay, and also urethral meatus, these are the testes, this is the glans penis, and here will be the prefuse oral foreskin will be there here, and the corpus spongiosum or corpora spongiosum, or also here these are the dorsal cylindrical erectile tissue, that is corpus cavernosa. So these are the different parts involved in the male reproductive system. Let it be so. And now we are going to discuss the previous question. What kind of questions were asked? And we can guess how the examiner is going to ask the question in the next NEET examination, right? See here, the first question is, this was asked in 2019. This was asked in the 2019. Select the correct sequence for the transport of sperm cells in the male reproductive system. Here, you must remember the right pathway where the sperms are going to be produced and how they are going to be transported out. You must remember this sequence. Definitely you must remember this sequence. Testis, epidermis, vasa efferentia, vasa deferens, ejaculatory duct, inguinal canal. So, inguinal canal, it doesn't play any role in the transportation of the sperm. So, this is not the right answer, right? Next, testis, epidermis. This is not right because here the seminiferous tubules must be in the first position because the sperms are going to be produced there itself, right? As we discussed just earlier, seminiferous tubule, retate testis, right? Okay, and then vasa efferentia, epidermis, vasa deferens, ejaculatory duct, urethra, urethral meatus, right? This is the right answer here. See, okay, this is wrong because retate testis has come here after the vasa efferentia, but retate testis must become before the vasa efferentia, right? And seminiferous tubules, vasa efferentia, here the retate testis is missed. So, the right answer is C is the right answer here, okay? C is the right answer. This was asked in the 2019. And let us see the second one. So, this is asked in the 2016. The question is, which of the following depicts the correct pathway of transport of? See here how the examiner is focusing on the pathway of the sperms, right? Retate testis, vasa or else vasa efferential or else efferent ducticles, epidermis, vasa deferens. Retate testis, epididymis, efferent ducticles, vasa deferens. Retate testis, vasa deferens, this is wrong, right? Efferent ducticles, retate testis, this is also wrong. Okay, now we will discuss this one, these two. Retate testis, after this efferent ducticles and epidermis, vasa deferens. This is the right answer, right? What is wrong in this one? Retate testis, after retate testis, it has to enter into the efferent ducticles or else vasa efferentia. Now, this is given after the epidermis. So, this is also wrong. So, the right answer is A. So, that is the second question which was asked in the NEET 2016 examination. So, examiner is focusing on the pathway, how the sperms travel from one place to other place in the male reproductive system. So, basing on the two times the question was asked. The shared terminal duct, of the reproductive and urinary system. Very simple. It is urethra only. Already we discussed the urethra is going to be known. The urethra is known as urinogenital duct because this is the combined pathway where the urine and sperms are going to be passed out. Semen is going to be passed out. So that's what the shared terminal duct. Here the word the shared terminal duct. The urethra is the right answer. And the Leydig cells as found in the human body are the secretory source of Leydig cells. Where do you find these Leydig cells? In between the seminiferous tubules. The space which is present among the seminiferous tubules is known as interstitial space. So there are two kinds of cells, Leydig cells and the immunocompetent cells. These two cells are present. The Leydig cells are responsible for secretion of androgens. So, among these androgens, the testosterone is the chief androgen. Now, the Leydig cells are as found in the human body are the secretory source of, what do you say, intestinal mucus, which is not at all related to reproductive system, progesterone which is related to female reproductive system, glucagon which is related to pancreas, and here is the androgens. These are the male sex organs. So, these androgens are secreted by the Leydig cells which are present in the interstitial cells. So, this question was asked in the 2012. See here, every corner he is touching, the examiner is touching every corner of the NCERT, every bit, every word of the particular topic. Now, if for some reason the vasa efferentia, you must remember vasa efferentia. Where does they present? Where do they present? The vasa efferentia is present in between the rete testis and the epidermis. In between epidermis and rete testis, there are some ducticles present. They are called as vasa efferentia. If some reason vasa efferentia in the human reproductive system get blocked, what happens? The sperms doesn't travel from the rete testis into the epidermis, or else the sperms are not transported from the rete testis into the epidermis, or else vas deferens, right? Chudam. The gametes will not be transported from testis to epidermis, okay, and epidermis to vasa deferens, ovary to uterus, and vagina to uterus. These both the statements are purely wrong statements because they entirely belongs to the female reproductive system. So leave them. Now the testis to epidermis, epidermis to vasa deferens. Where do you find this vasa efferentia? After rete testis, there are vasa efferentia. If the vasa efferentia are blocked, so here rete testis has not been given. So we should think that the testis to epidermis is the right answer. So testis to epidermis, these sperms are not going to be transported, right? So epidermis to vasa difference is different, completely different, because so after the vasa efferentia, epidermis and then after vasa deferens. Now the vasa efferentia is blocked. What happens? So vasa efferentia is blocked. What is the prior part of the vasa efferentia? That is rete testis or testis. Here actually rete testis has to be print actually. Okay, right. This is the right answer. A is the right answer. Now let us see the sixth one. The testes in the humans are situated outside of the abdominal cavity inside a pouch called scrotum. The purpose served is for, what is the purpose of scrotum? To maintain the lower temperature rather than the body temperature. That is the main function of the scrotum. So in order to successful survival of the sperms or successful movement of the sperms, right here, maintaining the scrotal temperature lower than the internal body temperature, right? This is the right statement. Escaping any possible compressions by the visceral organs, this is not right answer. Providing more space for the growth of the epidermis, not right answer, because so epidermis is present in the dorsal part of or else posterior part of the testis. Providing a secondary sexual feature for the exhibiting the male sex. So this is also not right answer. Here this is the right answer. So scrotum, we know that the temperature which is present in the scrotum is 2 to 2.5 centigrade lesser than the body temperature. So obviously the scrotum is to maintain the lesser temperature. So that is the useful. We know that scrotum moves away from the body and close to the body because of the two muscles. One is cremaster muscle and second one is the daughter muscle. Daughter muscle and cremaster muscle. Right. Next, seventh one we will see. Sertoli cells are found. Sertoli cells are found in seminiferous tubules. Already we discussed seminiferous tubules contains two kinds of cells. One is male germ cells, that is spermatogonial cells, and second one is Sertoli cells. Okay, Sertoli cells generally they provide the nutrition to the spermatogonia. Sertoli cells are found in ovaries and secretory progestin. This is the wrong answer because Sertoli cells which are belongs to the male reproductive system. The ovaries means that is female, so we can directly cross this one. And adrenal cortex, which is related to the endocrine glands, seminiferous tubules and provide nutrition to the germ cells. Already we discussed this one, this is the right one. And pancreas, which is not at all related to the reproductive system. So we can simply cross these A, B and D. So the right answer is the C. And this was asked in the 2010 and this was asked in the 2011. Okay. And now the vasa efferentia are the ductils leading from the, where does they lead from? Testicular lobules to rete testis. Okay, rete testis to vas deferens to epidermis, epidermis to urethra. Now here rete testis to vas deferens is the right answer, right? So this is the testicle, So these are the rete testis, and from here rete testis to vasa efferentia. Actually these vasa efferentia opens into the epidermis. But here the epidermis is missed and here the rete testis to vas deferens is the right answer. Okay, that is the right answer there. And next, seminal plasma in human males is rich in, already we discussed when we were lecturing, this point was discussed twice. So, seminal plasma, what is the seminal plasma means? The secretions which are secreted from the three kinds of glands. So, that is seminal vesicles, and second one is prostate glands, and third one is Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland. The secretion from these three glands are known as seminal plasma. They are rich in enzymes, they are rich in calcium, they are rich in fructose. Okay, and the prostate glands are present. And the enzymes are acid phosphatase as well as amylase. The two kinds of enzymes are present in prostate secretions. Right, let us see this. Fructose and calcium, yes, this is right one. Glucose and calcium, this is not. DNA and testosterone are not right. Ribose and potassium, this is not right. So, fructose and calcium and some kinds of enzymes also present in the seminal plasma, right? That is the right answer, 2010. That is a 2010 question. So, it was a direct question, no need to worry of these questions. No need of twisting here also. So, again 2010. Secretions from which one of the following are rich in fructose, calcium and some enzymes? It is very simple. So, 2010, this is also 2010 only. Male accessory glands, right? So, that is seminal plasma. So, obviously, the seminal plasma contains fructose, calcium and some kinds of enzymes. So, enzymes are acid phosphatase and amylase, right? So, liver, pancreas, salivary. So, these three are related to digestive system only, right? Seminal plasma in human is rich in seminal plasma. Again, see here how they are asking in 2009 and 2005 is asked. Seminal plasma humans is rich in fructose, calcium, but has no enzymes. So, you must read carefully. So, if you are going very speedily, what happens? You are going to skip this no. So, obviously, you are going to tick this one, but it is not the right answer, right? Glucose, wrong answer. Fructose, certain enzymes, but poor in calcium. This is also wrong answer, but because the poor in calcium, he gave the poor in calcium, but it is rich of fructose, rich of calcium and some kinds of enzymes. So, fructose, calcium and certain enzymes are present. So, this is the right answer. Okay. Next. See, once the diagram also given in 2009 NEET examination. So, given below is a diagrammatic sketch of the portion of the human male reproductive system. Select the correct set of the names of the parts labeled A, B, C. See, first you must recognize what are the parts over there. See, this is the urinary bladder, right? This is the urinary bladder. This is the urinary bladder. Okay. So, these are the ureters. These are the ureters. These are the ureters. Now, you can see what is this? Vas deferens is overlooping the ureter. You can see easily here. So, these are the seminal vesicle, right? These are the seminal vesicle which are present in the base of the urinary bladder, already we discussed. And this is the prostate gland. Actually, it has been shown as two, but it is only one prostate gland is present. So, C is the prostate gland, B is the seminal vesicle, and D you can see very small pea seed sized bulbourethral glands or else Cowper glands, Cowper or bulbourethral glands. Now, and this is what vas deferens, right? Vas deferens. This is a vas deferens, it is coiling or overlooping the ureter and it is coming down. Now, this C, A is the vas deferens, right? A is the vas deferens, A is ureter wrong, A is ureter wrong, A is not at all ureter. Now, the answer is in A and B only. Now, B is seminal vesicle, here also B is seminal vesicle, B is seminal vesicle, right? And C is Cowper gland, so C is bulbourethral, sorry, C is prostate gland here, C is the prostate gland and D is bulbourethral glands or else Cowper glands. Now, the D is Cowper gland or bulbourethral. Now, the answer is the A, simply. So, when you are going through the book, you must read very carefully and you must focus each and every point, each inch, each centimeter you focus. You should never leave a single word. You just look into the picture. Where are the particular organs, where are the particular glands, where are the particular ducticles are present, where are they present. You must remember, you should have very sound knowledge about these diagrams and each and every word, right? So this is our today's session. This is our today's session. So this is the male reproductive system, and these are the different kinds of questions. And in the next session, we are going to discuss the female reproductive system as well as the previous questions which were asked in the previous NEET examination. We are going to discuss in the next session, right? We'll meet in the next session. Till the next session. Have a great day.